Hello, my name is Corinne Takara, and I'm an artist working on the Hidden Histories project. It is a program of the Japanese American Museum of San Jose, and it is an experimental art project anchored in Japantown that brings to life treasured community histories in virtual space. So today, this screencast, we're just going to explore a little bit of Unity to understand its interface and to bring in the art we created just to get a feeling of how we might use it. So your very first step is you're going to want to find a piece of art that you have. A drawing, a collage, pencil sketch, photograph it, and scan it, get it up on your computer, save it as a JPEG or a PNG so that you have it ready to apply to your explorations. Okay, so that's step one. Figure out what you want to experiment with. Step two is we're going to be going into Unity. And we're going to be applying that piece of artwork as a material onto a 3D volume form. Okay, so that's what we're going to be exploring today. The very first step, is you're going to go to unity.com and download the software. You're going to be downloading the packet that's for games and just personal use. So once you have that downloaded, and it'll take a little while, so make sure you give yourself time to do that. You will open up the software, and this is what it looks like. And we're going to explore it just a little bit right now. So once you open up Unity, you will see a couple different window panes. So you have a hierarchy pane, and the free bundle, the free Unity comes with one main camera and one directional light. So that's what you have. You'll have a middle pane here. This is where we get to see what it is that we're building. And then on the far right, you have what's called an inspector, and that's where we control the variables and features of that particular object that you're working with. And then we also will have, we'll be looking a little bit at folders under the project section. This is where we have all our components. And you'll be building out a couple different folders to add to what already exists. Okay. So for our first step, let's go up to the very top bar and you can see File, Edit, Assets, and Game Object. We're going to go into Game Object and we're going to select 3D Object. Under 3D Object, we're going to select a volume form, and I'm just going to pick a cylinder. You can pick any of these things here. You have cube, sphere, capsule. I'm just going to pick cylinder. So now how to navigate this. So you can see that there's some lines on this. This enables you to rotate it. It's hard to tell it's rotating because it's got no pattern on it. But if you want to scale in, if you have a mouse with a middle roller trackball, if you roll that trackball away from you, the object will get closer. Conversely, if you roll the ball towards you, it'll get a little further away. If you want to pan, you can click down on that middle roller trackball on your mouse and move side to side. That's panning. You can also scale your object, and you can do that over an inspector window. So you could scale up, you can change the shape of your form, or you can keep the ratio. So I'm just going to keep it 1:1. So you can see that here is where you can control the scale. You can go up into rotation and change the rotation. You can explore that a little bit. And I'm going to put this at 0. Whoops. I'm going to Control Z that. Okay, so I don't want it to disappear from my view. All right, so here's our object. I'm just going to roll our ball in a little bit. If you want to orbit it without going over to here, you can type in E. Whoops, Control Z. Actually, it's already in the rotational. It has those lines on it right now. Okay. All right. Let me just click on it. Okay, so if you just click E, if you're off it, and then you click on it and click E, you can orbit. You can click on the lines and orbit in the different Cartesian coordinates. So you have X, Y, and Z plane. Okay, so we have our volume form. And the next step is we want to go into the project tab. Now under the project tab, you're going to create a few more folders. It comes with an existing package folder. It has a scenes folder, but you are also going to make a prefabs folder. So I already have mine here. To create a new folder, actually, let me, well, I was going to delete it, but what you do to create a folder is you click into the Assets pane here, and you right-click, and you go up to Create, Folder, you click on that, and then you type in prefabs. Okay, and you want to make sure that you type it in this way. In Unity, you cannot have spaces or special characters, and you want to be consistent with where we have capitals and don't. Okay, I am not going to save this folder because I already have an existing one. So I'm just going to delete this real quick. Okay. All right. So this is where you'd be actually creating. So you'd be clicking Assets, and I think it comes with just scenes. So I'm actually going to delete what I have, or I'll leave it up here so you can just see, okay? So these are the 4 that you're going to need to create: Asset Bundle, Editor, Materials, and Prefabs, okay? To create those folders, you need to click on Assets, right-click into this area here, and go to Create, Folder, and then you name it, okay? All right, and I'm just going to delete mine there. Okay, so these are the 5 you should have. It already comes with scenes, all right? Okay, so the next step is we are going to look at giving a color to our object here. So in our materials folder, I'm going to open that up. I actually have some materials already, so just ignore the materials I already have. I'm going to have you click on materials like we have here. I have an extra folder, so ignore that one. But you have one materials folder, you open that, you right click again in this area, and you're going to say create, not folder, you're going to material. Okay, so I'm in the materials folder and I'm saying create material, and I'm going to create a new material. I'm going to call it pink. Okay, metal. Okay, so I have this material. It has not been assigned a color yet. So I'm going to go up into the inspector, and this is how you create a color basically to apply. I'm going to click on this albedo, and when I click on that little dot there, and I click into this, when I click over into the dropper next to albedo, I can select a color. And so I want to make sure I'm dragging in this color wheel picker. This probably should be familiar to some of you. You want to make sure you're moving the circle in the cube, in the square, to the right. And then you have the hue wheel over here. So I'm going to pick up pink. I think that looks fine. I'm going to click back over here, and I'm going to, let's see. So now you see my pink metal has that color, and it's choosing a metallic. I'm going to increase the smoothness, and I think that looks good. Okay, so now what I do to apply it, because right now my cylinder looks the same, I click into my materials. I can now see that my pink metal looks like pink metal. I click on it and I drag it over. So that's how you create different patterns. I'm sorry, colors. It's also how you can apply an image or a pattern to your design. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to explore how you drag over the drawing that you've created. So again, you've gone through the process of selecting all the different components here. And I'm just going to stop this for one. So this is a part that's going to be fun for you, is applying your pattern design onto the volume form. So to do that, you're just going to go down, you're just going to open up your folders and find the particular piece of art you want to apply. In my case, I'm just going to grab this piece I did a while ago. It has sushi grass on it. And you drag that JPEG over into your materials window area. Okay, so I just dragged it over. It's thinking about it. You can see the wheel going. So again, for the process for bringing in an image to be used as a material or surface texture, surface pattern, you just find it in your folders, and you drag it over onto the assets folder materials. And so it's just thinking about it. I'm going to see if I can close this window. Or maybe this was a pretty big file. Okay, so let me go back to Unity here and see if it came in. Yeah, so it's right here. So it's next to pink metal. Okay, so now that I have this here, it needs to be turned into a actual surface, because right now I can't. Oh yeah, I can. I can just drag onto it. Okay, cool. I thought I had to do one more step. Okay, so that was the process of just dragging it over, and then I can apply it. Okay, so that's so interesting. Okay, and I typed the letter E, and then that enabled me to rotate this, and now I can pan it. And so that is how we apply a pattern, a photo or drawing to an existing shape. So I have some of these other ones here that I can also use and just kind of swap them out. Here's just a plain color. So maybe you want to experiment with that, and let's maybe pick one more thing to put on here to play with. So I'm just going to bring out a cube, and if I want to move it, I can click on the letter W on my keyboard, and that enables me to grab these little cone placement. So each one represents, like, this is the z-axis, this is the x-axis. This is a y-up coordinate, Cartesian coordinate system, so the y cone is facing straight up. All right, so now that's there. I can also now drag patterns onto it, so you can explore that and bring your roller wheel in to zoom in closer. That's kind of an interesting box. So that's basically the process, and I'm going to move this screen up just a little bit. Again, we have a hierarchy system where all your assets are going to be here. You can see the cube and the cylinder. Here are the lights. We had the inspector area where we can control our 3D volume forms. And at the bottom, in the project windows, we have created our folders. So you have created asset bundle, editor, materials, prefabs, and then you have scenes. And they're all spelled and look like this because that's going to be important for, this is a script-based program. So all the spelling, nomenclature, all the way it's done has to be consistent. So you're going to want to make sure this is how it looks. And I think that's where we're going to stop on this particular tutorial. In the next one, we're going to talk about bundling and also making sure that we are using we're going to switch build settings for an iOS packet. And then we're going to build out all the assets. Okay. So that's it for now. I hope this wasn't too confusing. I'm still learning this too, but I just wanted to get something to you all so that you could experiment. And we're going to be getting screencasts from Tamiko and Rhonda, our technical leads, and Tamiko Thiel is the lead artist of this whole project, and she designed AR Poise. So the whole purpose of us being in Unity and creating anything in this space is so that we can create things to export and to bundle and export to be uploaded into AR Poise, which is the software that we'll be using on our actual phones. That's there's a couple steps to this. Okay, but if we can just get to here, that's great. Not necessarily assuming that you're going to be sticking your art on a volume form like this, but it could be something that you are doing. We're just trying to get familiar with the project. At this point, you want to save this, so we can say File, Save As, and give your file a name for whatever you want to call this. Okay, and it'll be saved in here. I'm just going to give it a name, Test 2, Hidden Histories, Test 2. Okay, so you save it however you like. Now you see that name is there. And then I look forward to exploring this more with you the next time we explore Unity. Thank you.